fingers soft. So their first line of movement is their fingers, then their wrist, then their elbow. But you said don't give, and I would give a little, because I would tell this one to give a little, because frequently when she tries to do a downward to the walk, he stops and chucks it in reverse. So I would say soften the hand or whatever.
And I would say
go to the whip.
Go to the whip.
Okay.
Because he doesn't let you, you know what Robert says, when you close your fist and close your leg, the horse is supposed to raise up.
Right.
He goes.
Yes, he does.
And that's the nature of those types of horses that have that kind of long, that funny sort of straight hind leg, and they get the hind legs out and they're straight and they're, you know, so I say don't give, because when she gives a little bit, he just goes like this, and then his hind legs go out, and then he disengages, and that's the moment when those types of horses buck. Because their hind legs are disengaged, and then you touch them with a whip, and their hind legs are out here. So I say keep your, and you know what happens is the clinician comes in and says, we'll do this, and do this, and it works. And then like 3 days later, it stops working because it's now. So good luck.
Kim, I had just said to her, I don't know if you heard, I had said that I have been telling you to keep these fingers soft. Because of the problem we've had with this one. The second you do it downward, he stops and chucks it in reverse. But she said she votes for keeping the hand closed and going to the whip if he chucks it in reverse. Because if we open the door a little in the front, that's when she said he sort of just plop.
And gets longer. And if you do those like 1 million transitions and change the direction, he does not know. He doesn't know what's coming.
I did
so
notice.
If you think walk for one step, and then you're off somewhere else. And then he doesn't think about chucking it in reverse because he's.
Well, my biggest success is that when I've been working on transition, and I'm doing lots of it, he gets underneath himself, and his back comes up, and he's a lot lighter.
Well, also, this is going to be good for you, Pam, because we talked about this. Pam, like a lot of us, is a very soft person. So she does things sort of softly. So she'll say, okay, get ready, here we go. And at that point, he's not listening. You know?
He's in his own world.
So we do have to, so this is going to make you be a little sharper, right? You know, sometimes you say you zone out a little bit in between things. You're going to have to do for yourself what Whit just did. Turn left, turn right, canter now, walk now, canter, you know, because he looked wonderful, Pam. You see it on the video.
I don't know how to, after all this time trying to move my seat in the canter, trying not to move it was really foreign.
That's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. We have, because she and I punch holes in this horse's sides with our spurs and our leg. I have been saying to her, rather than go to your leg first, go to your seat first. So we've been trying to make the leg less and the seat more. But perhaps we've gotten carried away with that.
And what I find with those horses that are slow is that when you go to your seat and you get carried away with it, then pretty soon they just put their back away from it and they shut down. Because the bottom line is that when you for me, if I touch my horse's side with my leg, I want an immediate reaction. And if I go to my seat and his hind legs are out, then already his back is here.
Upside down.
So if you go that way too often, and then pretty soon he's this way.
He was definitely answering the leg. Much nicer for me.
Definitely.
Well, I think also if you get a whip that's a little less flippy, especially when you're riding him, then the reaction is
quicker.
quicker.
I do have a nice fit. We have some
For several.
Yeah.
That's why I like the crop, because it was immediate.
When I first got on him, I just like I was out for a picnic. I didn't care where his head was, and if I touched him with the leg, I wanted an immediate reaction. And then I make the aids really crude. On a horse like this, like slow down, and then I kind of chuck the reins, and the whole time he has to stay listening to my leg. So it's kind of ugly.
Yeah, well, the finesse isn't there yet
No,
because he
when
doesn't need it.
When you start to finesse, he just stops. So I make those ugly, obvious rein aids that kind of almost crank him back to his hind legs, and then I toss it away, and so that anytime Because those horses also, they love to do the hunter
Yes.
types. They
Yes,
love,
they
they
do.
were trained
Yeah.
to do.
Yep.
I saw you do that in one canter moment. It almost looked like you were going to stop him in that moment, and then he just surged forward with
Yeah.
his hind end so deeply
Yeah.
underneath himself.
Yeah.
It was really nice to
And they
see.
get those horses. Another reason why these horses, I think, buck, is because they're a little frustrated because they get long with their hind legs out, and then we say go, and they're longer and longer and longer, and they're uncomfortable.
Yep.
And then whereas
Okay.
when their hind legs are here, they
Right.
stand on their hind legs instead of bucking.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
that's a good face.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely using himself wonderfully there.